What's up, guys? Welcome to part 2 of how to attack using no skill points and saving yourself tons of money. To start off this video, we're going to take a look at the units that I use in my player versus player attacks. And that's a pretty important thing because for a couple reasons. One, you don't want to spend a whole lot of your resources in training your units. I've seen guys that will use just quads or other expensive units, ASAMs or claws, all that kind of stuff for PvP. While I think those are great units for war, I personally would never use them for player versus player because they cost a whole lot and they take a long time. If you've got boosts, that's great, but you'll go through those pretty fast, especially if you use that strategy all the time with those units. The units and troops that I've chosen, if I'm training all of them, I basically evenly distribute all of them between all of my training facilities. It'll take me about 17 minutes to get all of my units trained up, and that's, as you can see, 220 slot spaces of units worth. And with those, with that and my heroes, I can 3-star a Command Center 11 base fairly often, and granted that base may not be full with the hangars and bunkers because that's something else I'll talk about later, but it can be done. You can do a whole lot of damage with what I've chosen. So again, I've got 40 Juggernauts, 4 RPGs, 29 assaults, and evenly distributed, that's 10 jugs, 1 RPG, and 8 or 7 assaults in each of these training compounds. In my machines, I train 1 RD1 and 1 Dragonfire. That's 15-minute training time there. And my heavy machines, in one of them I train 1 of my Warbirds, and the other one I train 4 Goliaths. And that would be 20 minutes for the Warbird. However, I've got one of the perks that cuts that time down a little bit. So it's about 17 minutes between attacks for me, unless I use, the 15-minute train all or whatever I earn from the challenge mode. So those are my units of choice. Whenever I'm looking at a base, one of the first things I'll look for is if there's a bunch of dog tags on the base. There's 2 reasons there could be a bunch of dog tags. If the loot is crazy high, like 800,000-900,000 gold or oil, and the base is covered in dog tags. Clearly they're leaving those there on purpose to try to make you think that the base is empty and not taken care of. Watch out for those. They will get you every time. Sometimes I'll go for them anyways, just to get some loot out of them. But again, don't fall for that trap. What you really want to look for is when there's a few gears or dog tags randomly spread out around the base. That's a pretty good chance that the base is empty, or at least halfway empty. And those are really the bases that you want to go for attacking this way, because the less stuff that's in the hangars and the bunkers, the easier it is to take out. That doesn't mean you can't, and I'll show you guys how to do that. But starting off, whenever you first start trying this method, I would suggest trying to find those empty bases. I can 3-star the empty ones every time, no problem. The ones that have stuff in the bunkers and hangars, usually it's 1 or 2 stars for me. But again, I'm not trying to get my rep points up. I really don't care if I win or lose. Obviously, I want to win. What I'm going for is loot, and I can pretty much always get at least 1 star. And I'm sure a lot of you out there have had me attack you. You know what? I lose. I lose a lot of player versus player attacks. I mean, I win more than I lose, but yeah, you'll see me lose some because if you watch the replay, there's a pretty good chance I didn't use any skill points on it. Very, very rarely do I use them. And it's a very unusual occasion when I do. But anyways, we'll take a look at some of my attacks just so you guys can see what you are capable of attacking this way. Again, you're gonna see some 1s, 2s, 3 stars, but I'm going for, I think lately I've kind of been trying to find more diamonds. But I mean, you can see these attacks, some of them are 3 stars. I mean, let's take a quick look at Harry. There's a glance at my heroes. I used Reaper because my Harper died in the previous one, I believe, and I kind of mentioned that earlier. It's good to have all your heroes leveled up, but Reaper is not my perfect choice just because his range, his distance, shot distance is really low. So to get him closer to a lot of gold and oil depots, there's a higher chance that he's going to trip a hanger or get too close to a bunker or something like that. Whereas Gideon and Soap, Gideon and Harper, again, have the longest, can shoot from a distance and get a lot of resources shooting from a good ways away, keep themselves protected. Another cool thing, Gideon or Harper plus the RD1, if you send, and most of the time whenever you'll see my attacks, I'm sending my heroes straight for the SAM turrets because those do the most damage to me, because my RD1s are what keep all of my human units alive. So I'll usually send my heroes after the SAM turrets first. And the great thing about Gideon and Harper is if they're attacking a SAM turret at the right distance, they can be protected by the RD1 if the RD1 is behind Gideon or Harper without the SAM turret actually hitting it. So basically that distance between the SAM turret and the RD1 that's behind Gideon is greater than the range of the SAM turret. So that's a pretty cool thing that I really like about Gideon and Harper, and that's one reason why they're so effective in this strategy. We'll go ahead and do a quick replay before I start breaking it down into exactly what I do for the different bases. That'll probably be for my next video. This is just kind of a teaser of what you can do. I don't remember if this was a full base. It very well may be. Really, the first thing I'm doing when I'm going for these bases is I want to see what's in those hangars. So I'll usually drop a Juggernaut first in one side. I don't necessarily want to trip them all, just because if there are a bunch of something in one side, then I'd rather take those out and then avoid tripping the second one and just get 1 or 2 stars. Because that, you know, again, I'm not trying to use a bunch of skill points or completely wipe out these bases. My goal is just to go for loot. Clearly this guy had a lot of loot. So at this point, I know he's got Dragonfires, and really those are the easiest things to take out from the hangars. On the other side, I'm going to go for the bunker. The reason I dropped the Warbird first, and this is something that a lot of you probably don't realize, with the bunkers, the RPG that's in the bunker, its primary target is aerial targets. So if you're sending a bunch of Juggernauts after a bunker, instead of sending a bunch of Juggernauts right at it, the RPGs are going to take out your Juggernauts because they have area of effect. So one shot from, 2 or 3 shots from an RPG will take out 20 Juggernauts. Well, if you throw a Warbird first and then your Juggernauts and then an RD1, the RPGs that are on those bunkers will shoot at the Warbird first. So the only damage that your Juggernauts are taking is from snipers or assaults or whatever's in those bunkers. So that's a really key trick right there that can help you out a lot when attacking at a bunker. He's got, looks like a bunch of RPGs coming out of his communication center. Well, here you go, guys. I mean, this is a full Command Center 10. Pretty close to max if it's not max. It may very well be max, actually. I'm kind of looking around. You may see something I don't. Anyways, so the units that I've chosen have taken pretty well. The combination is good because your your Goliaths will go for whatever units come out of those hangars and command center, whatever the case may be. And then having your heroes leveled up, that means they can take a lot of damage. Once I get my main offensive units going in there and going after the weapons, that's when I'll send in my assault troops to kind of clean up behind them. There's a lot of other stuff going on right now that I won't really get into this first video. As you can see, each of my heroes, for the most part, are being controlled. And that's something that you have to keep your eye on the entire time you're fighting. I'm constantly moving and controlling heroes because obviously you don't want them to die. And a lot of times they're kind of what you want to take the damage versus your assaults. Like if I see a howitzer, I want to try to send my hero towards the howitzer, maybe really close to the howitzer to keep it from actually the splash effect my other assaults that are trying to clean up around it. So there's a whole lot of stuff that goes on into these. Again, I could spend hours and hours and hours talking about everything that I look at when I'm making these attacks, but I think I'll stop after this replay because this is a good example of what you can do without using any skills with those units. We'll stop there for now. This is my second video, part 2. Part 3, we'll kind of go into a little bit more of the strategy. I'll give you a couple other little tips and show you in more detail other things that I do in these battles. Good luck, guys. I'll see you on the next one.